If you're somebody who dreams of living in a land filled with culture, beauty, and romance, there's a high likelihood that you've thought about living in France at some point. With great healthcare policies and relative safety, France seems to be the embodiment of everything great in the world today. But dear viewers, there's a catch. Despite what you and I might think, the harsh reality is that an increasing number of expats are fleeing France. So hold on to your berets and baguettes and let's dive into it. Separating fact from fiction. Before I can get started on anything else, I'd like to make one thing abundantly clear. If you want to decide where you're going to spend the next years of your life, you need to have clear and realistic expectations about that country. Now, let me explain. In one way or another, we've all heard about France. For a few of us, France is a beautiful paradise, brimming with welcoming people, eager to teach you all about their culture and feed you some unbelievably good food. For the overly skeptical among us, however, the opposite is true. For some, France is nothing but an overhyped country, full of unhelpful locals and an unfriendly atmosphere. Now, you might be wondering, why am I telling you all of this? Well, the answer is pretty straightforward. If you are genuinely interested in moving to France and want to know more about the actual reality of living in France as an expat, you need to let go of both of these opposing views. While there's no denying the beauty and culture that you'll find on the streets of Paris or the tranquility that awaits you in Nice, the fact of the matter is that the expat life in France isn't without its challenges. I'm going to bring you the truth of expat life in France through the groundbreaking discoveries of the 2023 edition of the Expat Insider Survey. So let's roll up our sleeves, put our analysis glasses on, and talk about it. The Expat Insider Survey 2023. With the net migration rate in France reaching 161,000 in 2022, France might seem like the ideal country to immigrate to. Add to this the fact that immigrants now make up 10% of the population, and you get the image of France as a permanent abode for immigrants. The reality of expats in France, however, could not be more different. This, my friends, is precisely where the Expat Insider Survey by Internations comes in. If you want a holistic picture of expat life, you need to pay heed to the findings of this esteemed survey. With a whopping 12,065 expats from 171 different nationalities residing in 172 countries or territories, the respondents of the survey spilled the beans on all the nuances of their international life. Seeing that there is such a large data pool for the Expat Insider Survey, you can place a considerable amount of faith in the findings of the survey. And that's not all. The online questionnaire was methodically disseminated across the Internations community, company newsletters, and official social media channels, welcoming responses from both Internations members and beyond. Now, the Expat Insider Survey delves into specific topical indices such as quality of life, ease of settling in, working abroad, personal finance, and expat essentials, and ranks countries accordingly. So, where does France rank? As far as the general ranking is concerned, France takes the 33rd spot out of 53 destinations. The country shines when it comes to healthcare, snagging the impressive 6th position overall. And that's not the only positive for France. France is also the 3rd best destination worldwide for affordable medical care and ranks 6th for the quality of medical care. Now, as for the negative, the survey reveals that French expats find themselves grappling with the French bureaucracy and suffer from a gaping language barrier. For both of these metrics, France landed at a dismal 45th place. But don't lose hope just yet. Despite all of these hurdles, a whopping 75% of expats are over the moon with their lives in France. Compare this with the global satisfaction rate of 72%, you can see that the French expats' experience is far better than the norm. But who are these expats who experience such bliss in France? As sophisticated as the findings of the Expat Insider Survey are, I think it's worth mentioning that they cannot be applied to the experiences of every expatriate in France. Now, that being said, the survey reveals that of all the respondents interviewed, 64% were female and 36% were male, 20% of French expats were British, 16% American, and 6% Italian. Seeing how France is often viewed in the mainstream as the city of love, it's unsurprising that 10% of French expats moved to the country for love, while 9% wanted to experience a better quality of life. Lastly, the top employment sectors for French expats were education, IT, and advertising and marketing. The reality of expat life in France. Now that you've got a clear idea of the typical expat living in France, allow me to present to you the pros and cons of expat life in France. Let's start with the language. Whenever you're moving to a new country, you want nothing more than to immerse yourself in their culture as completely as possible. The first step to doing this, of course, is learning the national language. Unfortunately, this isn't easy at all if the language you're trying to learn is French. Expats have been trying to grasp French for the past decade, but to no avail. When quizzed about the ease of living in France without speaking French, expats consistently place the country in the bottom 10 destinations. As the findings of the Expat Insider Survey reveal, the struggle with French persists in 2023 too. 59% of French expats expressed the difficulty of residing in France without linguistic proficiency, which is a stark contrast to the global figure of 32%. Then there's also the fact of the perceived difficulty of learning French, with only 35% of expats deeming it an easy task, compared to 40% globally. Despite the dedication of expats in France, where 70% claim to speak the language fairly to very well, surpassing the global average of 55%, the frustrations of being misunderstood stubbornly linger. One British expat put it best: "I have, on multiple occasions, attempted to speak French with French people who claim not to understand me. Apparently, my pronunciation is imperfect, so they cannot comprehend me when speaking." No matter how you look at it, France is going to throw a linguistic wedge in your expat dreams. And hey, if we're talking about challenges, I should also mention that language barriers are not the only problem that you're going to face. Expatriates in France also have to deal with formidable bureaucratic obstacles. These bureaucratic obstacles are so bad that they've earned the country a spot among the bottom 10 nations for admin topics at 45th place. A substantial 53% of French expats expressed the difficulty of navigating local bureaucracy, which is a significant contrast to the global figure of 38%. A simple task such as opening a local bank account turns into an administrative challenge, with only 49% finding it easy. This number is 13 percentage points lower than the global average of 62%. While France fares relatively better in digital life, occupying the 24th position, and housing holding the 33rd position, it still finds itself in the bottom 5 in the Expat Essentials Index, holding the 49th spot. A sentiment echoed by an American expatriate sheds light on the bureaucratic frustrations that are woven into the expat life in France. The government websites are not user-friendly. Dealing with the prefecture to renew one's visa is time-consuming and frustrating. Navigating administrative processes proves to be a significant facet of the expat experience in France, and those difficulties can get amplified when you feel unwelcome among the French people. Thriving in a foreign land has its challenges, and when that land is France, the complexity reaches a whole new level. Socializing involves mastering countless unwritten rules and social norms before earning the coveted status of being considered a local. Adapting to these subtleties can be isolating and, at times, mind-bogglingly frustrating. But this is a rite of passage every expatriate must inevitably confront. In large cities such as Paris, which ranked 41 out of 49 in the Expat City ranking of 2023, and Lyon, you're going to find it difficult to find much warmth and tenderness. By contrast, smaller locales such as Dijon offer a more intimate embrace, with locals exuding a friendliness and warmth that helps ease the expat journey. So far, I've only talked about the cons of expat life in Paris. Now it's time that I shine a light on a few positives too. Is there a silver lining? Okay, so first up, medical care is top-notch. Since 2014, France has consistently been rocking the charts, ranking in the top 10 for its fantastic healthcare. In 2023, a whopping 84% of expats were happy with the medical care, which is way above the global average of 70%, and 83% found it affordable too. Job security is also a win in France. The country ranked 17th globally in the Working Abroad Index. While the work culture isn't everyone's cup of tea, 66% of expats feel pretty satisfied with their jobs, beating the global average of 64% by 2 points. Then when it comes to personal finance, France is slightly below average, landing at 31st place. But to make up for this figure, you have to consider the fact that most expats absolutely love the French lifestyle. Even though it's not in the top 10 for overall quality of life, expats rave about the environment and climate, green goods and services, and the abundance of leisure options. An expat from Latvia gushed about it. I love the fact that people spend loads of time outdoors, as well as the food and wine, the people in general, and the quality of life. Now, while there are several cons to the expat life in France, I can't deny that there are many advantages to it too. Would you like to live in France as an expat? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you liked this video, do us a solid and smash that like button.